What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back for our last stream of 2024. It's time to say goodbye and hello to the new year. And I, for one, am very looking forward to the new year and very happy to say goodbye to 2024. But, yeah.
Jeez, we've lost KTV. We have lost KTV already. Within a minute. He's joining, he's out. He's out of here. Jeez, brutal. I'll see you later, KPV. Bloody hell. See you soon.
It's KPV.
He's done out here.
Big up to Ryan Isaac. Says, see you boys in 2025.
If KBV's done, we should end the stream.
Yeah, end the stream now.
End the stream.
End the stream now.
End the year.
And big up to Jordan as well. Says, big up, love your content. And yeah, thank you everyone for the support that you have shown us throughout 2024. But we've got an extensive Tottenham update to bring you today regarding transfers, plans for January, transfer plans in general, and an Udogie injury update. We've got, excuse me, December tier list to get through, which I'm not looking forward to too much. And we're going to react to some of your comments as well. So an action-packed stream to end the year here with We Are Tottenham TV. But let's start off going through the tier list. December tier list, where we rank the players judged on our player ratings. 0 to 4.9 goes into awful, 5 to 5.9 goes into not good, 6 to 6.4 goes into okay, 6.5 to 6.9 goes into good, 7 to 7.4 very good, and 7.5 plus goes into excellent. And obviously the best rated player gets our player of the month. Yeah, so let's get straight into it, I guess. What are we...
Let's do it.
Who are we going to first?
We are going to first Vicario, but he obviously can't judge. He's been out for the whole season.
Yeah, so Vicario goes...
sorry, the whole month. There was 9 games this month, by the way. Lots of games. We played Fulham at home, Bournemouth away, Chelsea at home, Rangers away, Southampton away, United in the Cup, Liverpool at home, Forest away, and Wolves at home. And there was, how many wins? 2 wins against Southampton and United. A loss to losing to Forest, Liverpool, Chelsea, Bournemouth. So 4 losses and 2 draws against Fulham and Wolves. So, yeah, not a great month for Spurs. So it needs to be said. But
I don't think it needed to be said.
We persevere.
All right. Next up is Brennan Johnson.
Brennan Johnson.
So Johnson, how many goals did he get this month?
He got a goal against Fulham, got a goal against Wolves,
An assist against Liverpool.
assist against Liverpool,
An assist against Chelsea.
assist against Chelsea. So 2 goals and 2 assists in 9 games. Not terrible numbers wise,
Yeah, I'll probably say Brennan.
but ratings wise,
Yeah, probably goes into what? Okay, not good.
4.7.
Awful.
Awful. We haven't liked his performances. We did give him a 1 and a 2 against Bournemouth. We were not happy with his performance against Bournemouth. Brennan got a 7. Sorry, he got 6 against Fulham, where he scored 2 against Bournemouth, 6 against Chelsea, 3 against Rangers, 4 against Southampton when he came on. It was 5-0. 6 against Liverpool, 4 against Forest, and a 6 against Wolves. Maybe, Wolves, he didn't win a penalty and score, but we only gave him a 6. So we haven't liked his performances this month, Brennan.
Well, if we didn't like his performances, what's it got to say for the next guy? Because the next guy is Timo Werner.
Timo Werner, 4.0.
Oh my God, another awful.
4.0, another awful.
There should be a tier below awful.
Did get an assist against Fulham, but 6, 4 against Chelsea when he came on, 2 against Rangers when he got hooked at half-time, and as part of that Ange rant about him, and a 5 against Wolves.
All right, give me someone better now. It's got to be Dom Solanke. Surely he gets a better rating. I would say he goes into okay somewhere. He's been all right.
Big Dom, 5.9.
So 5.9 is not good.
Not good. Missing the Bournemouth game. Sorry, missed the Fulham game because he was ill. Did get a 9 against Man United in the Cup, but other than that, 7, 6 against Chelsea, 6 against Rangers, 7 away at Southampton, 6 against Liverpool, 3 against Forest, and a 7 against Wolves. So 5.9.
Yeah, a bit of an up and down month from him, and he's probably one of the better ones as well.
Yeah, I think as well. He's been playing every game, hasn't he? Apart from the one he was ill for, so he's really been running to the ground at the moment.
Next one, I'm not looking forward to. This one's Sonny, and I think he's going to go into awful as well.
5.3.
5.3, yeah. So he goes into not good.
Not good. I think the 9 against Southampton, and I gave him a 10. That saved him probably.
Fair.
Awful. Other than that, he did get an 8 against United. Scored from the corner, obviously. Other than that, he hasn't got above a 6. He's got a few 5s. Last 3 games, 4-3-4, which I think, look, that's the reality of his performances the last 3 games. They have been bad.
Rodrigo Bentancur came back from suspension, put in a bit of a stinker, and then he responded with a better performance, but still got that booking, which really annoyed me.
3 games, 5.0.
Again, not good.
Not good for Bentancur. 7 in his last game, but then a 5 against Rangers where he wasn't great, and a 3 away at Forest.
Mikey Moore, I guess, can't judge. I don't think he's played a minute in December, so Mikey Moore goes into can't judge. Next up is Decky. So he's got to be one of the better ones.
6.4.
Yeah, 6.4. So he's into okay.
Goes into okay.
He's on the cusp of good, but just being okay.
He did get 3 8s, to be fair. He got an 8 against Rangers when he came on and scored, 8 against Southampton, and an 8 against Wolves. But other than that, it has been some poor performances as usual. 3 away at Forest, 6 home to Liverpool, 6 at home to Chelsea, even though he scored, and a 3 away at Bournemouth.
I think okay is probably not doing him a service for the good performance that he did put in, because I think he has been one of our better. He's not been bad. I mean, he's been above okay in my opinion.
Well, I put him in good at 6.7. You gave him a 6.2.
So it's my fault.
It's your fault. You let Decky down.
Sorry, Decky.
Stabbed him in the back.
Sorry, Decky.
Spit in his face.
Sorry, Decky. I didn't mean it, man. I didn't mean it. Cuti Romero, has he played a minute this month?
He played 15 minutes against Chelsea.
So no rating.
Yeah, can't judge. I mean, it's a 5.5, but yeah.
Fraser Forster.
For a big phrase, started the month extremely strongly. He was on course for about an average of 7.8 or something. And then he let himself down in the last 4 games of the month, unfortunately for him. So 6.3 in the end.
6.3, that's all right. That's our best rated player so far. So he goes into okay.
Goes into okay. He started the month 8 against Roma.
Second best rated player so far.
8 against Roma, 9 against Fulham, 7 against Bournemouth, 7 against Chelsea, 8 against Rangers, 7 against Hampton. You're like, all right, he's having an amazing month. And then all turned in that United game. 2 against United, 4 against Liverpool, and then 2 6s against Forest and Wolves. So didn't end the month great, Fraser Forster, unfortunately.
Jed.
But look, yeah, has he been better than people expected? I don't know. It's hard to say whether he's better, but he's obviously... Those first few games really kept us in games at times.
Yeah, he did, and I think he has been better than people expected, because people never expected those good performances out from him.
Yeah, but I think the last 4 games is probably what we've been expecting from him.
But it's still given more than what we expected.
Yeah.
Next up is Jed Spence. Obviously, he's come in, he's done really well. I don't think he's had a bad game, really.
6.9.
Yeah, so he goes into good, on the cusp of very good as well.
Yeah, 2 8s against Southampton and United. 6 against Liverpool, 5 against Forest, where he got sent off. I averaged him a 7. You averaged him a 6.8.
Really? Fair enough. Again, someone else I'm doing a bit dirty, because I think Spencer's been really good.
Could have been
very good. Should be, to be honest. Next up is Richarlison, who's going to go into can't judge. After that is Radu Dragusin. I mean, surely Radu probably goes into not good.
6.0.
Oh, just about. He's literally just past the threshold and goes into okay.
Goes into okay. Again, started the month fairly strongly. 8 against Fulham. He got then 4 against Bournemouth, 6 against Chelsea, then 3 7s in a row against Rangers, Southampton and United. But then a 2 against Liverpool and 2 6s against Forest and Wolves. So, yeah, pretty mixed month. There have been some good performances, can't deny it. But I think by and large, again, jury's very much out whether he really fits the system.
Yves Bissouma. I think it's been really up and down, more down than up, to be honest. But I'm going to say he goes into not good.
4.6.
Oh, awful. Bloody hell.
4.6. Not been a good month for Yves Bissouma, it's fair to say. 5 against Fulham, 5 against Bournemouth, 3 against Chelsea, where he gave away that penalty, 3 against Rangers. Did get an 8 against Man United in the Cup, where he did have a good game. Then 3 again against Liverpool and 4 against Wolves. So it's been which before then he was probably averaging. Actually, before this month, if I take his season before this month, he was averaging a 7.2, right? But this month has been a massive drop off.
Yeah.
December's been a terrible month for him.
Pedro Porro can't be much better.
Pedro Porro 4.9.
Yeah, awful
4.9.
again.
Yeah. 2 against Liverpool. Were very harsh.
I don't think we've ever had as many players in awful as this.
4 against Fulham, 4 against Bournemouth, 5 against Chelsea, 3 against Rangers. Just been terrible. 2-6 against Southampton and United, 2 against Liverpool, then a better performance against Wolves. Again, up until this month, he was averaging a 6.2. Okay, so it's still not great, but this has been a massive drop.
It's not been a good season from Pedro Porro, whichever way you want to slice it.
No,
it's been a big drop off from last year. Next up is Pape Matar. Surely he's one of the better players this month.
5.6.
5 points, so not good. Wow. Even Pape doesn't get into good.
Even Pape, yeah. Did have 2 8s again against Hampton and United, a common theme there. Did get a 7 against Wolves, but 2 5s against Forest and Liverpool, a 4 against Chelsea, 4 against Bournemouth, and a 6 against Fulham. So yeah, it has been a bit of an up and down month. And it's a common theme. When he's played too many games, he's come off it. But when he's had a bit of a break and come in, he's been all right.
Archie Gray. Surely he's one of the better. I'm going to say Archie Gray goes into good.
6.1.
6.1. Oh, okay, only.
6
It's a bit of a shame because I think Archie is one of the ones I thought that's been consistent this season.
Well, 3 7s against Rangers, Southampton and United when he came in. Did get a 5 against Bournemouth, which wasn't great. Liverpool as well, 5 where he got a bit bullied. Last couple of games, 2 6s as well. So had a good start, but last few games, it hasn't. Look, it's not his fault. I'm not putting any blame on him, but obviously it's this reality. He's playing centre-back every game, and he wasn't going to keep up these performances forever.
Sergio Reguilon. Can't judge.
One 40-minute cameo against Wolves on the weekend. The first appearance of the season, well, second actually, because he had a cameo against United in the cup as well.
Yeah, played like a couple of minutes.
But 5.
Will Lancashire can't judge as well.
Yeah.
Surely Lucas Bergvall gets a favourable rating.
Bergvall 6.2.
Okay.
6.2.
Still one of the better ones.
2 7s, a 6, and 2 5s.
Oh God.
I gave him a 6.4. You gave him a 6.
Okay. I think there's a common theme here that I'm rating the players a bit worse off than you at the moment. James Maddison.
5.3.
Oh my God, he goes into okay as well. He goes into not good.
5.3. Yeah. 2 3s against Rangers and Chelsea, a 3 against Liverpool as well. Did get an 8 against United. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong guy. Who am I looking at? Sorry, he got a 10. Sorry, he got a 10 against Southampton, but then a 4 against Rangers, a 4 against Forest, a 5 against Wolves, a 3 against Bournemouth, 4 against Fulham. So yeah, not been great.
So next up is Destiny. I think he's probably going to go into awful as well.
Destiny, 5.4.
He goes into not good.
Not good. Again, a 7 against Hampton where he got injured, saved him. The other ones have been saved him from an awful. The other ones, 5 against Fulham, 5 Bournemouth, 5 Chelsea, 4 Rangers, 4 against Forest, and a 6 against Wolves.
And I think all of the last 3 players all go into can't judge. Van der Ven, Odegaard and Ben Davies.
Van der Ven, well, he played 70 minutes against Chelsea, Van der Ven.
What did he get?
He got a 6.5 overall.
6.5. Oh, so he goes into good.
6. And then the other 2, Odegaard can't judge yet. And Davis can judge.
Oh, well, how many minutes?
Quite a bit. Well, he played.
When did he get injured?
Sorry, he played 2 games. 2 games. And against Bournemouth, he played against Fulham and against Bournemouth.
So what's he going to? Okay.
6.5.
Oh, so he goes into good as well.
6.5. Then he got injured.
So the 2 players that barely played this month go into good just because there's not much to go on, basically. But yeah, that is your tier list.
Spence only played 4 of the 9 games as well.
And that makes Spence the player of the month. So big up to Jed Spence.
Goes into player of the month. It's 6.9. Probably the lowest rated player of the month
ever
of the season. Yeah.
Yeah, and this just makes a mockery again of why Jed Spence hasn't had more minutes over the course of the season, because I do think he's been very good since coming in. But look at that bottom heavy tier list.
I think apart from Decky, who could probably be bumped up one, I mean maybe Archie Gray as well. Maybe it's harsh, but other than that, I think it's pretty fair, to be honest. Like, maybe Johnson should be a not good instead of awful. I think awful is maybe a bit harsh as well. But apart from that, I think all the rest, I mean, it's hard to disagree with them, to be honest, this month.
Yeah, very, very damning indictment of the Spurs squad this month. Let's hope for a better month in January, eh? But the games don't let up. The games definitely do not let up, and with potential more injury woes, we'll have some players coming back as well. Big games coming next month. We've got the North London derby, bloody hell.
Ange, we don't have one for Ange, but Ange, we averaged a 5 over that month. So that would be not good.
Yeah.
Avoided an awful.
Fair play. But yeah, that is it. That is the December tier list. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's go in to see if there's any comments. No comments, but yeah, I think it's not great, is it? It's not great.
Well, obviously, it's been a terrible month. I mean, there's no getting away from it. We can see the results. Obviously, we did get through in the Carabao Cup, which was important, and a lot of people wanted that. Put a lot of importance on that. We only had one Premier League win, which was Southampton in Russell Hines' last game in charge. Look, there's been a lot of close games which we've lost by the odd goal, but there's also been some one battering, I guess, real battering against Liverpool. Could have been battered against Bournemouth as well. Probably one unlucky game, you could argue, with the Wolves one. We probably should have won that one, but we didn't. But other than that, you'd probably say, there's in terms of the month, not really much we can complain about when it comes to results, given the performances.
All right. Well, let's move on and let's react to some of your comments. I feel like I might be getting a bit of a cooking in this episode. Last time it was you guys laying into Sim. Let's see what you got for me this time.
It's not just you, but let me see this one. So Law THFC says, Man United switched managers and didn't change anything for them. Players and ownerships matter. Do you think, when you look at Amorim at the moment, like how he's failing? Well, not fail. Look, he's losing every game at the moment. It's not great. And look, there are circumstances to it. But how do you assess that situation when you compare it to maybe to us in terms of they've changed their manager, Ten Hag wasn't doing well, and now they're dropping it, and they've probably got worse, you would say.
Definitely. They've definitely got worse. They're like closing in on the relegation spots at the moment. Look, I do think it's a different situation, but look, it can be comparable, and I'm surprised how bad Amorim has done. I really am very surprised, because you've seen situations where managers come in mid-season and there's a big uptick. You've seen other situations like this where there's a new manager and it goes in the opposite direction. You look at Man United's squad, and for the amount of money that they've spent and the wages that they're spending, it's actually shockingly bad, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, but also it's a bad squad, but they've got everyone available as well. Like, surely, I know. Look, I guess the reality is with changing managers like this in mid-season, you're playing every 3 days. And especially when you got Amorim, who's implementing a completely new system, right? Then it's going to be very hard to implement that with such little time on the training pitch. He's basically using games as training matches at the moment, which is, I guess, the perils of when you appoint a manager mid-season. That's a risk you're taking. And I think, look, I'm not saying it's exactly the same. Obviously, Ten Hag, I'm not saying it was the wrong decision to sack him per se. It might have been, in hindsight, maybe they should have waited till the end of the season. They wouldn't be in this position. But, it could always get worse, I guess, is the reality.
Well, look, I think Man United is such a poorly run club. This change should have happened in the summer. It should have happened in the summer. And you've got a team that's had Ten Hag for the last couple of years, and they've won trophies even in the last couple of years. They won the FA Cup last year, the League Cup the year before. And I just don't understand why they didn't bring him in the summer if they're going to bring him in. Apparently, the word from the hierarchy because there was talking about sacking Ten Hag earlier than they did, and the word from the hierarchy is that the players in the squad don't fit an Amorim system, so that's why we're not going to bring in Amorim right now. And then a few months later, they've sacked Ten Hag and brought in Amorim.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? But yeah, you're not worried about anything that happened like that if we do get rid of Ange mid-season? Is there anything that's possible?
Well, look, like I said before, you need a plan and you need to bring in the right guy. I think if you do bring in the right guy that plays the right system that fits the players, then that shouldn't happen.
All right, BSA Arkley says, Ange gets criticised whatever he does. That was a quote. He says, yes, Sim, because he's the manager. No good us criticising the hot dog vendor. Ange also gets applauded when we are winning. You see how that works. That wasn't my point. My point is, I guess that's because I was arguing that, people have been calling for him to be a bit more conservative or pragmatic, I guess, in games. And then we did drop a lot deeper against Wolves and we still conceded a goal. And people still criticising him, even though we were probably a bit more pragmatic in that game. That was my point. Obviously, he's always going to get criticised when you don't get the results. That's the reality. But I'm just saying, I don't understand why you can't say he needs to be more pragmatic, and then when we are a bit more pragmatic, you then criticise him for sitting back too much. I think it's a bit. You gotta say, oh, look, at least he tried sitting back, and if it didn't work, it didn't work. But if that's what you're calling for, and we try it, why criticise him on that?
Yeah, which is a fair point, but again, I don't think it was down to Ange's instruction why we sat back. I don't think that would have been down to him, and I think when you're looking at, who came out and spoke about it after the game?
Decky said it.
Yeah, Decky said it, and it's not like Decky was saying it was the manager's instruction. He's like, the team dropped far too back, and we were trying to protect the lead. That was nothing to do with the manager. That was just something that happened on the pitch due to the players. I don't think that was the manager's instruction.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't think Ange probably ever wants to sit back, to be honest. But I'm saying we did do it, right? And it didn't exactly work out the one we did do it. So I don't, who knows if it's the right thing to do.
But we had the chances to finish off that game.
We did.
If we put it in the back of the net and whilst the team had dropped back, then we're saying it did work.
Yeah, true. But but also, did that for the last 5 minutes, did we invite too much pressure on us, maybe? You could argue that as well.
Yeah.
John Boy says, is that the right one? Yeah. Sim rattles on far too much and makes excuses all over the place. Archie Gray's a
story of my life, mate.
Archie Gray is a centre-mid and not a centre-back, so why are we not playing an 18-year-old centre-back at centre-back? I'm guessing you're saying Alfie Dorrington. Look, the reality is, Alfie Dorrington had a serious injury last season. He's also only ever played PL2 football. Archie Gray has played Championship football regularly. He's obviously played in pre-season at centre-back as well. He's clearly way ahead of Dorrington, and Ange believes he's more likely to get performances out of Archie Gray than Dorrington. Archie Gray is more ready in terms of physically as well, probably, it seems, for Premier League football than Dorrington. And look, if that's what you want to criticise him for, fair enough. We don't know how well we would have been if Dorrington was there, but at the end of the day, I don't think we get much better results with Dorrington there, to be honest, rather than Archie Gray.
Yeah, it's hard to assess this one because obviously we haven't seen Dorrington play at this level or anywhere close to this level. So as much as we all want to see him play, because he's got massive plaudits over the last couple of years for his PL2 campaigns. But yeah, you're right. He did have a couple of major injuries last season, which limited his game time and probably stagnated his progress quite a bit. We saw him come on in that Southampton game for the last couple of minutes, looked fairly comfortable for the most part. I would like to see him get minutes, but look, we're not the ones that see him on the training ground. We don't know the situation with him completely, so it's hard to criticise too much on that situation.
All right. Samuel Skinner 4527 says, I used to value Sim's Tottenham opinions more than any other person. Now he's as delusional as Ty from AFTV.
So I keep saying the Tottenham tie.
You're going to will it into existence, that comparison. I don't see the comparison, me personally, but each to their own.
All you're missing is the headphones, and that's it.
Just the headphones, the Tottenham gear. I don't buy anything from the club shop, so I don't know if even that from a starting point. I got no club merch at the moment.
Someone donate this guy some headphones, some Tottenham headphones.
I'll take him. Mervang Genius says 7 wins in 19 games isn't a good stat line. Why he keeps saying we won 7 games like it's positive? The point, I'm not saying it's good that we've only won 7 games. My point is we were winning games, right? Wins don't grow on trees. Wins are hard to come by, especially in the circumstances we're in. My point being, before this injury crisis, we had won 7 games. We were winning games, well, 6, I think, other than Southampton. We were winning games of football, right? Whether it would be consistent or not, we were getting wins fairly often. We'll probably have 1 loss and 1 whatever.
But still, before the injury crisis, the win ratio still wasn't great.
It wasn't great, but it was enough to keep us in the fight for European football. right? It was enough to see us in that mix. Now we're not winning any games.
Yeah, but come on, like from last season to this season, you're supposed to kick on. You're not supposed to stagnate. And I think like we weren't showing. We showed a few signs of progression in a few certain games. And I think we started the season well in terms of the way we play our game. But you're looking at a season that was very up and down from a lot of clubs, right? Mm-hmm. We were in the second season of Ange Postecoglou, and we're supposed to be kicking on, so we should be going past that, and we should be taking advantage of that situation.
Yeah, and we haven't. Clearly, other teams have gotten better. Also, maybe definitely in hindsight, the summer that we had, we didn't do, especially with the injuries, but even without the injuries, we didn't do anywhere near enough to improve the team. And I think even Ange has probably admitted that now. He's saying we need more experience, and I think that's maybe a bit of an admission from him that maybe he got the summer wrong.
It's ridiculous that he couldn't see that in the summer if he didn't. Like, well, it's ridiculous, is it not?
Maybe, but look, he's seeing it now. Look, you got.
Is it not ridiculous that he didn't see it in the summer? Like, we all saw it. We all saw it that Timo Werner's not good enough as well.
I agree with that.
With that, not having a left back in the European, like all these things added on, I think it's all like complete mismanagement.
Maybe underestimated how strong all these teams were.
Do you not think it's just complete mismanagement though?
Mismanagement of what? Of the
squad?
I mean, yeah, definitely. We've got gaping holes which are being exposed. We didn't improve enough where we needed to improve, which was definitely on the wing, where that was a big area we needed improvement, and we didn't get a first class winger, which we desperately needed. We can see that. I think that was obviously my biggest gripes of the summer, was definitely not getting a left back or centre back or left back or a winger. Those were the two things I really need. Obviously, we also need a six and all those type of things. But I felt like the midfield, like, it's not perfect and it will need upgrading on, but you can kind of deal with that. That's not a complete necessity for now, as long as you get these other things that I think are definitely complete necessities right now, in terms of we are completely like. My point being, are Bentancur and Basuma like top 5, top 6 players? Yes. Are Werner and yeah, but they are, in my opinion, anyway.
They're not players that are going to take us onto the next level, are they?
Okay, but my point is, are they top 5, top 6 players? I think they are, right? Are our backups for Van de Ven and Udogie and our wingers top 6? No, probably not, especially Werner. So that's why they need massive upgrading, like, is it in terms of importance. But anyway,
in my opinion, just massive mismanagement of the squad. The thing that Ange Postecoglou was banging on about at the back end of last season was, we need more options in the forward line. We bring in Udogie and we bring in Solanke and we bring in Timo Werner. That's not additions that you're going to say is really going to catapult us into the next level.
Maybe he thought, which he has made an impact, but maybe he thought Solanke's impact would be more than it has been. And look, he's obviously very much improved the forward line in terms of the striker position. He's been a massive upgrade, or a big upgrade, I should say. But first of all, he's probably been overplayed as well at the moment because Richarlison's been injured. And definitely, he maybe underestimated how much we desperately needed a winger. I think he knew we needed one, but I think he was willing to go with Timo Werner for a season with maybe growing Udogie, growing these Mikey Moore, growing Yamin Hook, and that was his thinking process. But it's hurting us too much in the moment, and we need more quality right now, and that's the reality. But I'm saying we won 7 games. But right now, we're not winning any games, and those 7 wins that we got, or whatever the wins that we have, I don't take them for granted. Those are wins that we've earned those wins, and they're not hard. They're not easy to come by, especially in the league right now. And my point was, we were winning games of football, and now the reason we're not winning any games is not because in my opinion, because of the coaching, not because of how he plays his football. It's because of the situation we're in. I think that's now why we're not. But
also, you focus on these wins, but you gloss over the bad losses and the bad performances that we've had.
I don't gloss over them. I don't gloss over them at all. I understand we've had bad results as well, and those are frustrating, and those are things that aren't good enough as well. I get that, right? But we were still getting wins on the board as well.
But when you're doing your analysis, you don't mention it. You just mention the wins and talk about the positive stuff, positive side.
It's not true. I've said many times we have picked up results that that were not good enough and we're embarrassing. And that's, we're still a young team and maybe we've still got a lot of learning to do. That's definitely true, 100%. But we were still winning games. That's also my point. You can't also gloss over that. That I think we would have continued to win some games if it wasn't for this massive crisis that we're in. Matthew Muir 9259. Pretty sure Ben was in support of a rebuild and claimed he wanted to stick it out stick it out like Arsenal did with Arteta, even though he got 8th in his first 2 seasons. The problem isn't Ange, it's not even Levy, it's our fan base. We need to come to terms with who we are and what we actually want to achieve. Firing Ange will only set us back further. The man has had half his starting squad out for over a month, and we are that ready to throw it all away. Let's see the project through. Still in 4 competitions, in a semi, and only 6 points out of Europe's spot. Give the guy a chance.
100%. I did say all those things. I still stand by those things, but I can't back something. Well, I am going to back it because, like I said before on the stream before, I did say that regardless if I want Ange in or out, I'm still a supporter of this football club. And when I get into that stadium, I'm still going to support him. I'm still going to sing his name. It's not like I hate him or anything. I really like the guy. I wish it was to work, and I wish that he does prove me wrong. That's the reality. But what I believe from what I've seen over a long stretch of time, I don't think he's good enough for the role. And that's why I wouldn't mind if I was to see him sacked. And I am in the Ange out camp. That's where I sit right now. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to support him through it. Like, I will support him through it, and I'm dying for him to prove me wrong.
Okay. Oz Singer Spur says, after 12 games, we were getting 1.67 points per game. If we didn't get the injuries and continued to achieve that ratio of points per game, we would be on 30 points now. That would give us 6th and only 1 point off 5th and 5 points off 4th. Ben ignores the injuries and suspensions, but we are playing without a goalkeeper, key defenders. Bentancur hardly played, and then we had more Udogie and Richarlison all missing completely. Missing half your players has to have a massive impact, right? Ben is a typical Spurs fan who can't stomach a rebuild and can't look objectively at the reality of suspensions and injuries in an already thin squad. I believe we are three foreign players short of a full squad.
Okay, so how do you give excuses for, and how do you back up that Spurs, only 2 teams have lost more than us over the last 12 months in this whole Premier League? Only 2. How is that ever going to be good enough? And this is, you know, you've got a large chunk of that where we don't have any injuries, or we've only got a few injuries. Yes, I understand the situation that we're going through right now, and it's going to be hard for even a Pep Guardiola or, you know, whoever, Alex Ferguson, to manage Spurs through this period and get consistent results. I completely agree with that. But I saw worrying signs, and I was saying it, even before the injury crisis, that I'm seeing worrying signs, and I'm seeing regression in the performance, and I'm seeing regression in a lot of results that we should be getting. I think that he should be managing things better, and I feel a lot of the injuries are down to him as well. So as much as you're right in what you're saying, you know, we are going through a really bad time and a really... Huh?
He's on to Oz Singer Spur, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
As much as you're right in saying that, you know, we are going through a really hard time and it's hard for anyone to maneuver through it, I just feel like the warning signs and the worrying signs were there beforehand anyway.
So you're saying that he's saying after 12 games, right, when we had a fairly fit squad, we had 1.67 points per game, right?
Yeah.
You said, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, that even if we carried on that form, you would still want him sacked.
Well, in terms of everything involved, not just points per game, but performances, losing to teams that we were losing to.
If we're on 30 points now, you would want him sacked.
Where would that leave us?
In, like he said, it would leave us in 6th, 1 point off 5th, and 5 points off 4th.
But I never thought that was going to carry on. What you're saying, just like...
So you're thinking, regardless of injuries, we're always going to have this form?
Not this exact form, but I think we were going to have a massive drop-off, yeah. Because I think that drop-off was coming. And I said it.
A massive drop-off from 1.67.
I said it because, do you not remember we did that video, that prediction video of how many points we think we're going to get? And that was before the injury crisis.
Right, but...
How many points did I say we're going to get? I was right in the first 5 games, wasn't I? And it looks like I'm on course to be right for the second 5 games as well.
Probably less, but...
Exactly.
Yeah,
so,
but that's...
That was my prediction before injuries.
Right, and it was just after the Ipswich game, but you don't think the situation has any impact on that?
Injuries do have impact on it, but from what I was seeing on the pitch, obviously I thought we were going in a downward trajectory. And
it's easy to say that after we lost a bad game to Ipswich.
yeah, but that was a few bad games in there. It wasn't just Ipswich. There were worrying signs throughout there. There was a whole heap of worrying signs at the back end of last season as well.
But even in this injury crisis that we're on, we're only losing games, most of the games anyway, by the odd goal. We're not getting battered, apart from the Liverpool game. And obviously we probably should have lost more against Bournemouth. But other than that, we're not losing games by big margins or anything. We're not getting battered. It's very close games.
But there are games in there where we could have conceded more, where we didn't. We've been through it.
Probably been battered.
Fulham,
they dominated, but look, they in terms of clear opportunities, they should have won the game, but they didn't, and the only goal they scored was from like a 25-yarder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, my point is, look, the Liverpool game and the Bournemouth game.
We were so lucky to get out with a point in that game.
Okay, but whatever. Even that game, we probably could have lost by a goal or whatever. But in a lot of the other games, it's been very tight margins, been fine. Like the Forest game, very fine margins. Wolves game, we probably should have won that game. I can't remember who else we've played. Obviously, Chelsea, we ended up losing 4-3. But again, there was actually fine margins in that game as well, why we lost that game. Can you not see maybe if one didn't have all these injuries and suspension, all these problems, that maybe those fine margins would have maybe gone in our favour in some of them?
I'm not so sure they would have. I'm really not so sure they would have.
Fair enough. Okay, user saw, I don't know how you say user something 7428 says Ben is unbearable. absolute sunshine fan, shaking my head. Sim explained the situation we're in perfectly. Ben refuses to listen to any reason. Ben epitomizes the problem with the club. Would have unsubscribed if it were not for Sim keeping this channel from becoming a toxic cesspool.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion. If that's your opinion of me, then thanks for watching.
Marpop99. Let me get this right. Ben wants us to go forward and kill the game off. Also wants us to sit back and protect the lead.
I just want us to play good football and to win games and not put in these stinkers that we're putting in and not have tactical flaws like we do. Because I feel like you have managers that can be attacking and high pressing and intense, but you don't have those managers. You don't see them like completely with gaping holes on the right and left back every single week throughout the whole game. Like, I feel like teams can target us, and they target us in specific areas on the pitch with or without injuries, and we just have gaping holes. I feel like other teams.
Every system have flaws, though.
But you look at the team, like Pochettino's team, right? We were intense, we were high pressing, we were attacking. Yet we had one of the best defenses in the league over a 2-year period. We were like incredible. We were incredible. Like Ange Postecoglou and his frailties. You can target specific areas on the pitch, whether it be right back, left back, and you're going to get in there time and time again. Back post. How many times do we concede goals at the back post? It's ridiculous. You play a deep cross into the back post. You're going to have two men free.
But every system has give and take.
Yeah, but right? that is too much, man.
Yeah, but again, before the injury crisis, we weren't conceding that many goals. It was 15 and 15 from when Vicario was in goal this season. We were one of the lowest when it came to like shots on target against us and stuff like that. It was very low. Like I'm not saying we were perfect as well. We did concede some sloppy goals, and we were opened up sometimes as well. But in terms of what the numbers were saying, we actually weren't that exposed too much before all these defensive injuries came.
Look, I feel like it wasn't as kind of upright as what the stats are showing, because I do feel like in a lot of these games that we did come under pressure a lot, and if teams target us in the right areas, they can get in. It's just as simple as that.
So you think the fact that we've conceded 25 in 13 with Forster and these other defenders is nothing to do with who's playing, it's to do with the system? Instead of 15 when Vicario was there in the same game?
No, obviously we concede more because of our defenders and our goalkeeper being out. Obviously we concede more and we concede more chances, but it's still, I don't think it was good enough on a general basis.
Antoine's Cow 9076 saying, I don't think I talk only for myself when I say that if Ange is sacked, I'm going to be more disconnected to this club than I've ever been. Clearly the club has been supporting Ange's vision and have been wanting to go through this rebuild, a new project, but as always, first sign of trouble when he's out. I just can't go through another cycle of this. I think that will be the end for me.
This isn't the first sign of trouble, though. This isn't the first sign of trouble. Apart from the first 10 games last season, we never showed a consistent run. The back end of last season was shocking. It really was shocking from a results and performance level. We started the season, a bit better, a bit more fresh this year. And then again, after the Brighton game, the worrying signs and the worrying performances started to creep in again. And the injuries came, and now we can't buy a win. So I think this isn't the first sign of trouble.
I would probably say it's a second sign of trouble. But still, is that enough to sack a manager who you've invested a project into midway through a season?
It depends, like, if you think he's the right guy or not. I just don't think he's the right guy.
Cowing 8140 says Ben represents a majority of the fan base who claim supporting a rebuild, but deep down just want instant success. They cannot even tolerate losing games during the process.
I can tolerate losing games, just not very well. Look, I understand that we need a rebuild, and I understand it, but you're looking at the players that we have and the results that we're getting again, and the results that we're getting them against. It's not good enough. Like, we should not be. We should be beating a lot more teams than we are, and we should never be third most losses in the Premier League out of these 20 teams. Look at some of the teams that are in this league, you know. We should never be there.
But can't he sort it out?
I don't know if he can.
You're not saying you're not saying you don't know. You're saying you don't think he can.
I don't think he can. No.
Yeah. Why not? It's only 18 months. Can't he learn?
Because by this point it should be a lot better.
Why?
It should be a lot better.
It's his first job in a major European league. Maybe he's
supposed to be an experienced guy.
He is an experienced guy in other leagues. Maybe he's underestimated. Well, I don't know if he underestimated it, but maybe he's still learning in this league what it takes to what's.
Well, if he's still learning, he's learning very, very slowly, isn't he? Extremely slowly. So how much longer are we supposed to put up with the up and down nature of what we're trying to do?
Another 6 months.
Another 6 months.
Yeah.
And then what?
And then we part ways at the end of the season if it doesn't work.
But we got such a good opportunity, and I think sticking with it is just throwing a good opportunity down the window.
Sticking with Ange is throwing a good opportunity.
I think so, yeah.
In what sense?
Because we're in a good opportunity. Semi-final of the Cup, the FA Cup still to come, Europa League, we're one of the favourites in the tournament. And I just feel like playing the way we are, with the key frailties that we do have, I just can't see us getting over the line in these tournaments. And I feel like another manager can maybe come in and do it. Not saying they will.
But we've already gone down this road with this line with the project. You think another manager comes in?
Maybe we just got it wrong. Maybe we have just got it wrong.
Yeah, but we don't know that for sure.
I mean, judging by the results, it's definitely suggesting that. But
until you've got to give him the chance. Like, we got to give him the chance. No, has he? Has he had the chance in Europa League and knockouts? Do we know how we would do? Has he had the chance? Like, has he?
He has had the chance.
Has he had the chance in the semi-final yet in the League Cup? Like, he hasn't had the chance. What chance has he had? You got to give him the opportunity to fail before you get rid of him.
He's had half a season now, and it's been pretty much, apart from 2 or 3 games, poor.
I mean, I think that's harsh, 2 or 3 games. But what I would say is, as he said, before the injury crisis, it wasn't the points per game would have put us in a position where you wouldn't be calling for his head right now.
Mm-hmm.
And because of this injury crisis, now you are calling him for his head. So you're judging him on the result pretty much that we got.
But also, I was majorly questioning him before the injury crisis.
Yeah, but you haven't taken. I don't think you've taken it into account. You were questioning him, but now you're ready to throw him away due to this injury crisis. You're willing to throw him away.
But like I said, I was majorly questioning it before, and I made a prediction before the injury crisis, and I said we'd get a very low amount of points in this 10-game period. Mm-hmm. And injuries or no injuries, we have got those very low points.
Yeah, I mean, but to think that...
And that was my prediction before the injuries.
Yeah, but to think that these injuries haven't
I never said that. I said they have had an impact. You've asked me 2 or 3 times in this stream.
but you're acting like they haven't.
But I've told you they have.
Yeah, but you're acting like they haven't.
How am I acting like that?
Because you want to go sack him based on these injuries. Based on the results we're getting from his injury crisis.
But it's also results prior to the injuries and the back end of last season. It's a whole heap of problems. It's not just these last 5 games.
But my point is, you weren't ready to sack him before the injuries, and now you are, due to the results we've gotten during these injury crises.
I think it's a whole heap of everything. I don't think it's just about these injury crises, because I was majorly questioning him before the injuries.
All right. Well, that's all the comments.
All right. Well, there you have it. That is us reacting to the comments. Let us know in the comment section below. We've got a couple of super chats to get through before we get into the Tottenham update. We got Artists that says, yet again, horrible support on Sunday. Wolves fans were out singing us the entire game. I was in the East Stand. Every
Season
ticket sang. It was just for 10 seconds max.
Every song sang, maybe. Yeah, it wasn't a great atmosphere. A bit flat.
Yeah. Stell says, yes, we want a rebuild. We want it with a top manager, not a clueless Ange. Fans didn't back Poch, Jose or Conte, but now we want to back the wrong manager. I think fans did back Poch. Yeah, I mean, I think Conte and Jose never really had the full support of the fans, which is the reality. But I think, yeah, look, the biggest mistake that we've ever done is sack Poch. That's just the reality.
Yeah, we're still paying for it. That's true.
Ronnie Siam says, will Poch join the club if approached? I mean, not right now, he won't. He's got the USA job, and I don't think he's going anywhere until the end of the World Cup.
No, I don't think he'll join.
And C9 Manic says, I've reached a point where I'm leaning Ange out. I want it to work, and I'm more Levy out. I'd be lying if I said it's easy to look at managers like Thomas Frank and not think they do well here. I'm sure
they could do a good job. I don't deny they could do a good job. I'm sure Iraola could do a good job. I'm sure Silva could do a good job. But I also think, if they come in right now, I don't think much changes. And if you're worried about the position we're in, I don't think the position gets any better whilst this situation is going on. And if you're thinking, in my opinion, well, in the long term it might be better, right? With these managers, we might as well get them in now. My point of view, if you've got a project already underway right now with Ange, you might as well stick with it in the hope that he turns it around, right? Rather than going in a new direction, because if he does turn it around, right, you've got the upside of sticking with that project behind you and all that time you've invested in it, and there's more upside there than starting a new cycle, right, where he's come the summer, more players, different direction, and he's probably going to have to go through a bad period as well, which we're going to have to get through, and then it's a whole more problems, in my opinion. So I think it might come the summer, maybe we go our separate ways, but I think right now the best course of action is to stick with it. That's my opinion.
All right, let's get into the Tottenham update. We've got an extensive one for you today regarding injuries, transfers. Obviously, we are less than 24 hours away till the transfer window opening. The silly season is about to be upon us. But first and foremost, we're going to get into some pretty not great news regarding Destiny Udogie, as we're hearing that he's set to face around 2 months on the sidelines after his hamstring injury. It did look bad, didn't it, when he went off? He could barely walk off the pitch, and you could tell it was going to be a bad one.
And he said it's my hamstring when he was on the floor. You could see him on TV.
And obviously we're hearing that it's going to be around 2 months.
Yeah, and that probably indicates a minor tear, I think, in his hamstring. Obviously, if it was a major tear, like Van der Ven, that would be probably closer to 3 months. Although, what was Van der Ven, 2 months or 3 months last year? I think
it was 3.
Yeah, so it's gutting for him. What's really frustrating is he just came back from he got injured against Southampton. He was out for a couple of weeks and he came back, and now then he comes and has a different injury. Is it a constant? Look, the reality is he's one of our most played minutes this season, and I think Ange has to look at why he had to play him so much, given Jed Spence's performances when he's come into the team, and that's massively frustrating. That is definitely something that Ange has to be accountable for when he's Udogie's picking up such a serious injury, because Spence's come in and done well. And obviously I know Spence isn't in the European squad, which is complicated things, which means Udogie's probably had to play more minutes in Europe than we needed to. But when we've had games where he's played in Europe and we've had a game on the weekend, maybe a few, I'm not saying all of them, but maybe a few of them should have been given to Spence earlier on, and maybe we could have avoided this situation. And now hasn't happened. But the thing is, he came back from an injury, and then he only played the game on Thursday, and then Sunday. So it's not like he's been playing a long stretch of games, just bang, bang, bang. But
We've not done enough this season to protect our players. You look at Romero and Udogie alone, right? Romero had the Copa. He had about 2 or 3 weeks off, and then half a game against Bayern Munich in pre-season, and goes straight into the first game of the season. He's playing every single minute. You look at Destiny Udogie. He had surgery on his quads over the summer, I think it was, and he didn't have a pre-season, and he's straight in first few games of the season, playing week in, week out. And on top of that, we have another player that can relieve the pressure of him, Jed Spence, and yet we're playing him through. And also what else didn't help him, which was a bit of unfortunate for him, was that every time we did look to give him a rest, he had to come on early in games because of injuries that we did get. So I don't think that we're doing the best service to these players in terms of trying to protect them. On top of that, the amount of hamstrings injuries that we're getting this season, the amount we got last season is no fluke. I think it's down to the management and down to the way we're using these players.
yeah, I mean, look, it could be the case. It could be the case, and that's something we have to look at and fix, and that's something we have to sort out. And Ange has admitted that maybe he has to review the medical department, maybe he has to review how he's doing training and stuff like that, because clearly these injuries are not a coincidence. You can't be getting this many muscle injuries and reoccurring injuries as a fluke. So I think, for sure, that's definitely a criticism that you could have of him. Is it down to Ange that we're getting these injuries? I don't know if I'll put it on him, because I think
Kind of has followed him around though, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a team effort, isn't it? It's not just him. He's got medical.
Of course, I'm not going to put it solely down to him, but it's a problem that has followed him around his career.
Yeah, but it's also not a problem that's held him back as much as it is this season. At Spurs, I should say.
He's never been to Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, so I think Ali Gold, watching Ali Gold's video yesterday, and I think he made a good point about how we were dealing with squad management in the summer. He said, I feel like Spurs planned for the best case scenario and didn't prepare for the worst case scenario.
Isn't that what we always do?
And at Tottenham, it always turns out to be the worst case scenario. That's how it usually ends up here. So
don't you remember we said it the last season when we got rid of Davinson Sanchez after the window closed?
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, we don't want Davinson Sanchez here, but you need to bring in a replacement. You can't get rid of him after the window.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And alas, what happens? All of our centre-backs go down.
Literally within a few games.
Yeah. And then this season, when the announcement of the squad gets announced, we're like, how can you go without a backup left-back? And alas, we get all these injuries again.
Yeah, I mean, we were going mad about Spence. I know, in hindsight, Forster being in the squad hasn't, he's probably needed, but, Spence not being in the squad has really cost us really badly, and it could be costing us a doggy for 2 months now. And now we're gonna, we have to dip into the market. We have to, whatever plans we had to bring in a left back or left centre back hybrid thing. If we were waiting for the summer, I mean, we have to bring him in now. We have to, even if it means paying a premium, because we risk just completely, being in the bottom half.
Paying a premium.
Season, so.
Do you know which club you support?
Well, he's got no choice. He's going to have to do it.
Oh, he's got a choice, all right.
True.
Let's talk about these transfer plans then. Tom Allnut says at least one left-sided defender to cover Van de Ven and Udogie is the priority for Spurs in January. A premium winger and a proper defensive midfielder are also in need of being added at Tottenham, but both are more likely to be brought in the summer when the market is more ripe with quality to acquire. And Paul O'Keefe says that Spurs are looking to add a goalkeeper, centre-back, centre-forward and winger positions this window. Versatility considered an advantage, as well as experience in high-intensity and high-tempo sides. So, I mean, Paul O'Keefe saying a goalkeeper, centre-back, centre-forward and a winger are positions that we're looking to bring in. There is no chance we bring in 4 players, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely zero chance. Yeah, we're not going to bring in all these players. Also, we got to put into account as well what we do with the European squad once we bring in some of these players, because they can't all go into the European squad. Maybe we'll have to leave out some of our injured players. I don't know who's out for ages, but maybe Odegaard has to be left out, or maybe again we want to cancel Werner, which we'll go into. But yeah, it just reminds me. There's a tweet I saw. Someone quote tweeted Paul O'Keefe's tweet about that. It was a quote from David Moyes when he was Man United manager, and he said, he was quoted in an interview saying, Man United have to improve a few things in the upcoming games. We have to defend better, create more, and score more. It's like, okay, so basically everything's wrong. That kind of reminds me, like, we need a keeper, left back, centre mid, and striker, and winger. It's like, okay, so we need basically everything. But also, I guess, if there is truth to what he's saying, that probably, I don't know, there must be an admission about how wrong we got the summer window, if that's what he's saying as well.
Must be. And look, we all said it at the time, and the manager's seeing it now. So what can we say? Let's talk about the goalkeeping situation. As Tom Allnut says, the plan to bring in a suitable backup for Vicario could be brought forward. And James Trafford of Burnley, Anthony Patterson of Sunderland, and Alex Ramiro of Real Sociedad have all been watched by Tottenham in recent weeks. However, Paul O'Keefe on Last Word on Spurs last night says that Tottenham are looking at a goalkeeper in Germany. Didn't give us any names, but apparently a goalkeeper in Germany is being looked at as well.
I'll take any keeper. Give me a keeper, a German keeper, why not?
Josh Keeley ain't doing too bad.
Yeah, bring him back. Bring him home. He's doing great. 7 clean sheets in a row.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, what does that mean for Forster? Do you what do we do if we bring in a keeper? Does that mean we don't put Vicario in the European squad and we say he's just ruled him out, or do we not put Forster in and we go with Austin as our backup for the time being?
That's what I would do.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do. But Forster hasn't been great last few games, but he did start off well. So I wonder what Ange was Ange going to reward him for those good performances with leaving out the European squad.
I think it was a new position bounce. You get your new manager bounce. It was a bounce from Forster, and I think you're seeing his true level now. I think we all know it. And if you're going to bring in a new keeper, you have to keep Vicario in the squad, because if we do have ambitions and we do get to the latter stages past March, you're going to want Vicario in goal, aren't you?
Yeah, of course. So you can't leave Vicario out. So look, it's going to be interesting. That's the thing. We need so much, but once we do this business, or if we do, we've got a lot of interesting decisions about leaving certain players out of certain things. There's going to be some hard decisions to be made. Do we keep Werner here but leave him out of the European squad? Something like that. Is that going to happen? It's going to be interesting.
Well, we've got some updates coming on Timo Werner in a minute, but let's get into the defender situation next, as the Mail reporting that Tottenham have been offered the chance to sign Ben Godfrey but have no interest in pursuing him. Ko Itakura of Borussia Mönchengladbach is a name that has been floated about as a defender they might pursue.
I like Itakura. I think we've been linked to him a few times. Can play left back and left centre back as well. So I think he's one. I think in terms of he's good at playing out the back as well. So I think he's one I would consider for sure as an option for now. I think Godfrey, look, he's a decent defender. I think if we were going for a 6-month loan as a stopgap, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. But I also probably, if we can I'd rather get someone we can actually invest in the future with, or invest in the squad and believe can be part of our future going forward. So I think that should be a priority, and that's correct to be a priority. But I don't want to. I'd rather Godfrey than nothing, I guess, is my point.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I don't think Godfrey is as bad as a lot of people are suggesting. I think that I wouldn't want him in as a first choice. I wouldn't want to sign him on a permanent. But I think, look, we just need numbers at this moment in time. We're really desperate for numbers, and sometimes beggars can't be choosers, particularly in the January transfer window. So if it comes to the latter stages of January and we still haven't got one, and we're finding it hard to get a quality one in, I would bring him in. Next up, let's talk about Kolo Muani and Jack Grealish. As Tom Allnut says, it remains to be seen whether Daniel Levy or Johan Lang will be tempted into an optimistic move for players like Jack Grealish and Randall Kolo Muani, who have previously flashed big potential and have been linked with Spurs in recent days. And Football.London, I'm not sure if it's Guest or Ali Gold, says it's rumoured that any interest for Tottenham in Jack Grealish would be a contingent on Manchester City being willing to pay a good portion of his wages, which are rumoured to be around 300 grand a week, as part of a loan agreement. Newcastle, who've also been linked to Grealish, will fall into the same category in terms of their interest as well, which is no surprise that to me either.
Yeah, I also think, especially when it comes to Grealish, or even let's say we wanted to go to Rashford or something, those deals will only ever get done on deadline day.
Yeah,
we're never going to get them earlier in the window, because I think Levy would know that he can get a better deal on deadline day if they're really that desperate to get rid of him. Just like Arsenal got that deal for Sterling. I know it didn't turn out well, but they ended up not paying any fee and paying half his wages. That's the kind of deal we're probably going to want. So I don't see those kind of deals probably ever panning out. But if they are to pan out, it's going to be really late in the windows, I think.
If it came to that, and you had the choice between Grealish and Rashford, who would you pick?
Grealish.
Yeah, me as well.
I actually think he's a better fit for the system as well. I think Grealish is. I think Rashford's more of a wide forward. I think Grealish is a winger, can dribble. I think I needs just a new lease of life.
He'd also help us, really break down those low blocks.
Can also play in the 10 as well if needed.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mail are reporting as well that Tottenham have interest in PSV Eindhoven playmaker Malik Tillman, but a deal could prove to be difficult to complete in January, given that he's an important player for the Dutch side. With the rumours of Bakayoko as well potentially leaving to Newcastle, I haven't heard much more about that since the initial rumours a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, there's a hijack coming.
Let's hope so, but I would like to see Tillman. I think Tillman's a good player. He's done well in the Champions League as well.
Scored some banging goals in the Champions League. I've seen 100%. I would like him. Again, I don't think midfield, like if we come away from this window and all we sign is midfielder, like what have we really helped? I know it's probably helped, but it's not really going to improve our situation getting another midfielder in as much as it will improve the midfield a bit. Midfield is probably the one area where we're actually got some depth at the moment, so that's not where the urgency is as much as there is a need for improvements, but I don't see the urgency right now. But if he comes, I'm not going to say no. I just
can't he play on the wing as well?
I don't think can he?
Malik Tillman, I thought he could.
Maybe. Don't think he's quite a winger though.
Next one we're going to talk about is Tyreek Mitchell of Crystal Palace, caught offside, saying Arsenal and Tottenham are set to battle each other in the race to sign Crystal Palace left-back Tyreek Mitchell.
Caught offside.
Yeah, Graham Bailey says that Tottenham are considering making a move for Crystal Palace defender Tyreek Mitchell on a free transfer in the summer, because he is out of contract in the summer.
Smells like a Levy deal.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so you could probably get him for a good price in January if he's not going to sign that deal. I would take him.
I mean, he is another wing back that we're maybe asking not to be a wing back.
That is also true, but I think he's a really good player.
I like him. He would have to learn the system. It's very different to how we were playing for Palace. I think he is a good player. He's also a young English player. I don't not like him, but again, I probably think we're only signing him because he's cheap and English player. Yeah, not because he's the best fit for.
But he is a good,
system.
Very good player.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not a good player.
Didn't he just recently get called up for England as well?
Potentially. I mean, are Arsenal really going to go for him? They've got like Timber, they've got Calafiori. I don't see them going for him.
Yeah, I think Zinchenko might be on his way out. So maybe it's a replacement for him. But I think he's a very good player. Let's talk about Timo now, because Bild are reporting that the message from RB Leipzig is clear. Timo will not return to the club in January. Werner could be one of Leipzig's highest paid players if the loan was to be cut short, and the club have no interest in paying that sort of salary to a player who does not have a place in the club's plans. Leipzig are already resigned to the fact that Tottenham will not sign Timo permanently, even if he is to see out the season with the North London club.
Yeah.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Can we just cancel the contract? Just do it somehow. How can we... we can't even cancel it if we want to.
Like, what idiot that did this deal doesn't put a break clause in January?
Well, just look. We're going to have
the amount of wages that we're paying. Like, what idiot doesn't do a break clause?
Stupid. We should just be ruthless, leave him out all the squads and be done with him. But we're not going to do it because we're paying his wages, and if he's here, we'll be forced to use him. And Ange agreed it, so he has to take responsibility for having him here. And clearly, I think even Ange is getting frustrated with him. I think that's clear.
Yeah, very clear.
But we said it at the time, it's going to hurt us having him here. It's going to hold us back. And it's massively holding us back now at this point. It's really costing us. It's costing us the space in the squad. It's costing us whenever he's on the pitch. He's just not doing anywhere near enough at the moment. So it's frustrating, but I don't know. I don't see the club doing what's required in this situation, which is just to leave him out of everything. Forget the money you're paying him. Leave him out of all the squads and just sign someone who can play that position you can trust. But we're not going to do that because we're paying him money, so we're going to use him, and so he's going to be in the squads.
Ali Gold talking about Sergio Reguilon. He says, in regards to Sergio's future, Spurs are looking at potentially adding a new left back in January, and Reguilon's contract situation means the club would likely take any offer that arrives for him in January, leaving it in the hands of the Spaniard to decide whether he likes any of the propositions offered to him or not.
Well, Udogie's injury, does that change anything?
Well, it depends if we... Well, he's saying we're in the market for a left back, so I don't know if it does, because we need to...
If we don't bring in the left back?
Well, then we have to keep him, surely.
Because if Spence gets injured.
I mean, Reguilon should be seeing more minutes and probably should have seen more minutes this season. I know that Ange doesn't see him in his plans, but when you've got a squad as thin as ours, especially in the positions that we're thin in, you've got to use him, surely.
Yeah, I mean... Probably. I mean, I would say probably not. Just Spence should have seen more minutes. That's reality. And Spence should be able to cover that. But he didn't trust Spence either, so that's even more frustrating. So, look, I'm not angry that he's not using Reguilon at the moment. I'm not that bothered about him, but it's just frustrating that we've got overused left backs and we've got two players who can play that position in the squad who just haven't been looked at, and now we've got our best left back injured for 2 months. So that is definitely a frustration for sure.
He's been used as a training cone pretty much for pretty much all season.
Travel to Europe when he's not in the squad.
Yeah, it's madness just because we're short in numbers in training.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Will Lancashire. He says, Alistair Gold says, there is lots of interest in Will Lancashire, with some clubs even ready to see if they could sign him permanently, but Tottenham's injury problems mean that any move coming to fruition would be difficult. Again, a player that probably should have seen more minutes than he has.
Especially since Richarlison's been out. I guess it's been the whole season, but especially lately when it's been game every so often, just to give Solanke a bit of a breather. Should take him off. I guess reality is when we're chasing a game, he's just felt like he's better off having a tired Solanke than sub him off for Lancashire. And I understand that as well, but we've never been able to just give him a breather when we're winning, like just take him off.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, if you make the decision to keep him around, then bloody hell use him. Like, what's the point of keeping him around just to warm the bench? That's all he's done. He got his start against Galatasaray, got a goal, albeit he did get sent off in that game. But he got his goal in a hostile place like Galatasaray, and it's not like he's stunk.
He was terrible against Ferencváros either.
100%. So, whenever he's played, he hasn't set the world alight, but he's been a competent player. Yeah. So bring him on when we're chasing a game. Relieve the pressure of Dom Solanke. You can even play them both together, but use him if you've got him. We're talking about fatigue and tired legs and all this stuff way too often when we've got some of these players who haven't kicked the ball hardly.
Yeah. That's fair enough. That's a fair comment. Not to say that, would we have gotten better results necessarily if we use these players?
If you never try, you never know.
That's also true. But, Ange is also trying to get the results as well, as much as he's wanting to, relieve players of these fatigue issues. But yeah, I think it's a good point. But I also think if you're going to be used as much as he has been, then send him on loan. There's no point in being here.
Yeah. Let's talk about Donnelly and Keeley now, who are really making waves in Leyton Orient lately. Alistair Gold says there is more loan interest in Donnelly and Keeley from clubs further up the pyramid than Leyton Orient, leaving Spurs with a big decision to make. Given that both have now really settled in at Orient, you can argue that disrupting that flow would be bad for their development. And I kind of agree with that. Because they're really in their groove now, aren't they? Donnelly is key to that Leyton Orient side. He's playing in the 10. He's flourishing. Josh Keeley has just broken a Leyton Orient record with 7 clean sheets in a row. I mean, just keep them there for another 6 months, I say.
Yeah, I agree. Don't want to disrupt that. Imagine Donnelly disrupts it and then has like a Scarlett-esque loan where he's not on the bench, he's not playing. Don't want to risk that. There's no point. There's no need to risk it. Yeah, maybe they can get some championship loans, but I think the development will play playing week in, week out, the confidence they're going to get by playing as well as they are at the moment, it's just going to help them a lot more than going on another loan deal, in my opinion. And look, yeah, they could go on another loan deal in the Championship and smash it out, but and try themselves at a new level. But as well, especially for Donnelly, he's only just started smashing it for the last month or so.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think he should run before he finishes walking, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. And last but not least on the transfers, Alistair Gold talking about Tyrese Hall, saying there's an expectation that Tyrese Hall will head out on loan later in the window. if the club can find a destination that's considered the right fit, with interest being shown from sides across the EFL. And I think he needs a loan, because you're looking at the under 21s this season. They're not really doing that great, and he's like been a standout week in, week out. Whether he's played in the 9, he's more or less played in the false 9 pretty much all season.
People said he was a 6.
Yeah, I mean, he's very versatile in that. Last year he was playing as a 6. This year he's playing as a false 9, which is madness. But
he's scoring, isn't he?
He's scoring as well, so he's doing really well. So I'd like to see him go on loan.
Yeah, I think a lot of people talking about him last season. Obviously, we saw him in that postseason match briefly against Newcastle, and he did look quite good. Everyone expected him to go on loan. There's even suggestions he could be an option for us, but clearly he hasn't turned out that way so far. So definitely needs a loan. I'd love to see. And look at how Abbott's doing at the moment for Notts County. He's a midfielder that's gone on loan. Obviously, Donnelly and Keeley, got some good players. Really
Apparently,
well.
Matthew Craig, I can't remember where he's at. Apparently, he's doing really well as well.
Matthew Craig, was it? I can't remember, Port Vale or something.
I can't remember exactly where he's at, but he's having a really good loan as well.
All our loanies seem to be doing very well at the moment. I'm trying to think of a loanee that's not doing well.
Yeah, the only one.
Valise.
Valise is not doing well at all.
Yeah, really not going well. Is he even playing?
Not really. They gave him the number 9 as well. He scored a hat.
Yeah,
he scored a hat trick against some part timers in the cup.
And he also scored a last minute winner against someone.
Yeah, and he hasn't scored in the league since.
Poor guy. I'm trying to. Yeah, I think all our Scarlett's gold were dried up a bit, but he was going for a purple patch. Solomon's really turning on all of a sudden for Leeds.
Should we take Solomon back?
Should we take Solomon back? I'd rather just sign someone else, to be honest. But he is doing well. But again, it's only in the past month or so.
Yeah.
And he also gets injured a lot.
The thing is with Solomon, though, he was recovering from a long injury. It was always going to take him time.
Yeah, but I don't want to risk
And
another.
it seems like he's found. It does seem like he's found his feet again.
But I don't want to. We just. I mean, I guess you could say with any player, but I just feel like we'll bring him back and he'll get injured again.
Yeah, probably.
But I think give him another 6 months. Let him just continue to play.
All right, and last but not least, Henry Winter yesterday gave us that there's going to be some changes to VAR that's going to be implemented in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. He says referees to announce decisions in stadium after any visit to the VAR pitchside monitors during the Carabao Cup semi-finals. The practice, a first in English football, will be trialled initially in both legs of the forthcoming Arsenal, Newcastle, Tottenham, Liverpool ties. Significant development. This is about humanising the decision-making process and showing respect to match-going fans as they do in cricket and rugby. And he says the pressure will be then on to adopt the practice in Premier League. In-stadium announcement in the EFL semis will be made by referees upon the conclusion of factual matters such as accidental handball by a goal scorer or offside offences where the attacker touches the ball. The PGMOL add that the trial forms part of a broader commitment to transparency, including providing greater clarity and understanding around key decisions. Refs been preparing for some time for the possibility of in-stadium announcements at training camps and in match-related exercises in grounds.
I mean, what changes upon there? Just announcing it verbally on the pitch. That doesn't sound like a major change. They should just do. It's a simple fix if you want that. You just do what they do in cricket. When they have an appeal on cricket, they put it on the big screen. And basically, essentially what they do is you'll see the umpire going through the assistant umpire, video umpire, on screen. You'll see it live a lot of the time. You'll hear it even go through his process. But in England, you see it on TV sometimes, the VAR look at things, but you'll see it on TV, but on screen it'll just say VAR check. So just put the VAR, what they're seeing, just put basically what you see on TV on the big screen. Just do that, and then it sorts it out. You don't need all this rubbish. I
thought that was the plan to do that anyway. I thought they were supposed to be doing that.
No, what they've done is the only thing they do is after a decision is made, they'll show a very quick clip of why the decision was overturned, and blink it, you'll miss it. It's like 2 seconds.
It's because they know if they did that in football, they'll get pelters week in, week out. That's the reality.
I guess, but that's the optimal way of transparency. All this the referee announcing, I don't care. I don't need to hear the referee say we've given a penalty for handball. What's that going to change?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, very true. But that is the Tottenham update for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And let's finish off on a couple of super chats, and then we will end Actually, I think we've been for those super chats, so I think we're just going to end. But big up to everyone. I want to wish everyone a happy new year. Hope you enjoy your festivities tonight. I want to thank you all for the constant support that you've given us over the year as well. And we hope for better times, don't we, Sim?
Thank you for all your lovely, lovely comments that we've all been reacting to.
Yeah. Lovely comments.
Lovely comments. All the good and the bad. Appreciate everyone.
Exactly.
So look, big up to everyone. Hope you have a good New Year's Eve and a happy New Year. We'll see you all in the new year. You can say that now. So big up to everyone, and let's hope a better 2025 for all.
Absolutely. So that is us over and out from 2024. See you all in 2025, people. Happy New Year. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.